Almost there.
corporations.
Almost there. Come on. And who else?
Last one.
Last one.
There have been a few companies that have.
No.
Yes.
Like the American spender. Come on, the American
Who pays
part
tariffs?
who pays the tariffs.
Right, but then
Look, just to kill you, just to kill you.
and the corporate fault.
Just real quick.
The vast majority of the tariffs have been paid by foreign governments and corporations.
That's really not how
Governments
tariffs.
don't
Just
pay
real quick,
tariffs.
just to,
A conservative said something doesn't make it true,
No,
Bakari.
I've been saying that in my
Just because he
entire
agrees with
life. I've actually been. You've been agreeing with
He
me.
agrees with
Eric
me.
Erickson even pointed to.
When I talk, you always accuse me of using talking points. When you talk, I always say thank you, Bakari, for finding common ground.
Yeah, but I got.
Hello everybody. Guys, it's been a while, but we got Baya, the female Scott Jennings, just confused as ever. She just seems to struggle on literally every and any topic. There's a lot to clean up here, so let's get into it and we'll talk about it.
All right, tonight, did Trump steal the wrong play from the Biden playbook? Karl Rove thinks so.
The Trump administration is making the same mistake that the Biden administration made, which was to basically, remember we had Bidenomics is working.
Right.
Well, now we have the golden age of American prosperity has returned, and Americans are not feeling that. Better to say we're working hard to put America on the right road rather than declaring premature victory. And I think that's a big mistake for the White House and is likely to come back and bite them in the midterm elections.
So, Boccia, what about that, Karl Rove?
Firing this person is not my favorite thing that the president has done, but I sort of disagree with Karl Rove. I do think that there are certain economic factors that are actually extremely positive. And in firing her, he made it seem like the economy was struggling a lot more than it is. I just want to read one piece of information I think is really telling. So over the last 4 months, 1.8 million native-born Americans got a job, and 1.5 million foreign-born workers lost a job. And we know that 1 million of those, or somewhere around them at least, were illegal migrants who exited the workforce and self-deported. This is a huge, huge win for the president. This is exactly what an America First economy should look like. It turns out the whole idea that there are jobs Americans won't do is a myth. There are jobs Americans won't do for that money. And having this illegal caste underwriting our entire economy, getting rid of that, that should be a progressive cause.
All right, 2 points. You know where all that data comes from that you just cited? The Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Yes, indeed.
The woman he just fired.
He
doesn't believe in that data.
In that long ago time, 5 minutes ago.
That data's all rigged. That data's all rigged. And the other thing is the data which I happen to find accurate, particularly as they revise it over time, that has a lot to do with the unemployment rate. It absolutely affects the denominator of the unemployment rate, which has stayed very stable. The jobs created number, a little bit different how it impacts that. And in fact, the sort of the flatlining of the jobs added here is something a little bit different than that, and a bit of a problem here. You were trying to jump in.
yeah, because I wanted you to name her name. What's her name? Everybody, what's her name? Exactly, because nobody should know. It's Erica Mitar.
Before we get into this, he actually, Mike Leon here, he actually commented on a couple of my videos where he was on the panel. He actually doesn't live too far from where I grew up in the Bronx. But Baya, she's just so vile. There's a couple of things she said there, and it's just so obvious to me that she doesn't know what she's talking about. Is she really trying to say that Americans are now doing the jobs that undocumented immigrants that Trump just removed from the country had? Because now they're paying them what? Instead of $5 an hour, they're paying them $20 an hour? Like, she's such an idiot and a liar. Where's the evidence of this? I want to see Americans out on those fields. Effing liar. And she's just disgusting. Just say you don't like certain types of immigrants, pendeja. She's Jewish. And let's say Jews were looking for an opportunity, escaping despair, life-threatening situations, and coming here. You think she would talk like this about immigrants? She essentially says immigrants are shackles holding down the U.S. from growth. Well, undocumented immigrants. Other than Native Americans and Black Americans, we are all immigrants, you dumbass. Like, you need more people to have a bigger economy. It's just obvious as to why. Study has been done. Immigration grows the economy. The more people buying, paying taxes, paying into things like Social Security and everything else, this expands the economy. It expands the benefits of something like Social Security that we all pay into that comes out of our paychecks. Like, is there any surprise why China is our biggest threat? Like, quickly, you tell me, if you had a business selling coffee, would you make more money if you had a population of 100 people in your town or 1,000 people? This is so silly. And again, undocumented immigrants don't even get the benefits that they pay into, like Social Security, which is effed up, obviously. But the idea that they're taking benefits from Americans is just ridiculous.
McIntyre first. Nobody should know who the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics is. As I was telling you off air, and I'll bring it over here, it's a spoke in the wheel. And this is the problem with President Trump. He has gutted different agencies, and he has gotten rid of career people that don't have an R&D next to their name. This R stands for Rutgers, everybody, so calm down.
This is the second time.
Yeah, that's right. I got to drop them.
More.
They pay me every time I mention them. So, but this is what he's done to these agencies, where these are career people that put the political association right there before they sign in, and then they do their job and they report on their job. This is data. 2 plus 2
let's
is
stay
4.
on the economy. Let's stay on the economy for a second here, because he's out there. Because this is, Trump is making this the Trump economy. It's got his name on it now. Does he want that?
But the only thing that anybody's able to say are that there are more migrants eliminated from the economy, right? That's the only thing people have to add. GDP growth is down, inflation is up, unemployment is up, jobs added down. We've seen that. Consumer confidence
Stop
down.
saying it wasn't down. They revised it down.
It went up in
Yeah.
July.
Well,
It was
that's
down
the
May.
point.
It was down
But
May.
the number of jobs added is very, very low.
Year over year. It's
Bakari
like
said,
starkly
year
down.
over year,
Yeah, starkly
and then
down.
they-
Yes.
I mean,
no.
She's just always confused. The job numbers, they expected something like 200,000 and they got 70,000.
Okay,
I'm with
so
you.
let me just let me finish, because I actually did some research. Retail sales down, the trade deficit, what we've been talking about, up, price of gas up, price of eggs up. We started to see the price of goods go up. Listen, this is what Americans want, and I've said this till I'm blue in the face, and I wish that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries actually heard me. They want competency, and they want consistency. Right. We already know we're not getting that out of Donald Trump. We don't have competency out of Donald Trump. We damn sure don't have consistency out of Donald Trump. But we're not getting that out of Democrats either. And so while the economic metrics are what they are, the economy is going to hell in a handbasket quickly. She had to go to page 7 of the talking points to find a plus, and that's not even a plus.
And the markets want stability. Go ahead, Brooke. I'll let you
Okay,
go.
so we had this $250,000 revision, which is actually a big one, right? So I can see why people are angry and they're shouting conspiracy theories.
Over 2 months. It's $250,000 over 2 months.
Okay, but I agree with Karl Rove that the messaging could have been handled a bit differently. It's the same thing, when I tell my children, a little bit of pain for a little bit of gain. And if you actually look at the numbers, the job growth, which is in the tens of thousands per month, is almost exactly the same as it was during the last couple months of the Biden administration. So while right before the election we had a spike, it's now exactly the same. Now, if you think about the tariffs that we have, that is a pretty good thing, that the tariffs haven't hurt the economy the way that everybody is saying that they would hurt the economy. And once we have a stable policy and we have consistency and we have predictability, I think you're going to see that boom.
Are you going to be
That's not true.
psyched? Are you going to be psyched for 19,000 jobs, 14,000 jobs added a month in perpetuity?
it's
Because
the
if that's
same-
helping the economy,
not
that's
in
not the kind of help
perpetuity.
people like.
No,
Are you guys not psyched that he raised $100 billion in tariffs? 5% of our Fed would do that.
I've been waiting on this. Thank you. I got this one. And I didn't do economics.
When I talk, you always accuse me of using talking points. When you talk, I always say, thank you, Bakari, for finding common ground.
Yeah, but I got this one.
Does that not
Because
bother
I've
you?
been studying
Do you not
econ.
think
I've been
that
studying
that's like-
econ for this show. Do you know who's responsible for the dollars we've raised?
She's not going to answer.
Yeah. No. Who is responsible for the tariff? You just gave the statistic
Yes.
about the amount of money we made off.
$108 billion.
Who's responsible for it? Who's paying it?
So it's been a combination
No.
of 3 things. Yes, it has.
Come on,
It's
talk
been
to
a
me.
combination of foreign governments,
And talk to me.
foreign
Talk to me.
countries,
Get to
a
it.
combination
How the
of the
Almost there.
corporations.
Almost there. Come on. And who else?
Last one.
Last one.
There have been a few companies that have.
No.
Yes.
Like the American spender. Come on, the American
Who pays
partner
tariffs?
who pays the tariffs.
Right, but then
They're shameless.
the lawmaker proposes a bill to give that money
Yeah,
back
so-
to the
so
people.
the
The Democrats are
Which
upset
we
about
know because inflation has not risen significantly.
Oh,
and
but it
so
has risen.
obviously it
But
is
it has
being
risen.
paid by somebody else.
No.
Bakari. We know that foreign governments and corporations have eaten the vast majority
who've
of
contributed,
the tariffs.
and I will quote my good friend, the great liberal Eric Erickson, who goes out on a limb and simply says,
The fact that a conservative said something doesn't make it true,
no,
Bakari.
I've been saying that in my
agrees with
entire
you.
life. You've been agreeing with
Because he
me.
agrees with
Eric
you.
Erickson even pointed to the fact that we've raised all this money from tariffs comes from the American
That's not
individual
true.
who's spending
That's
these
false.
dollars.
But that is false.
hold on, but just
the
to-
fact that Eric Erickson said it doesn't make it
But-
true, Bakari. It is false.
But just real
The
quick.
vast majority of the tariffs have been paid by foreign governments and corporations.
That's really not how it
governments
works.
don't
Just
pay
real quick,
tariffs.
just to
It's-
put
go ahead,
on
Mike.
the industry sectors, hospitality and leisure is down with respect to
Agriculture.
travel. And then, look, I have a coffee sponsor, Fresh Roasted Coffee, best tasting coffee, but they're down. I'm sorry, I got to drop
have
it.
an
Maybe-
OnlyFans?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
like,
it's-
what-
I got to-
everybody-
but look how much they pay on tariffs for their exports. You can't grow coffee in America. You know that, John. You cannot
I've been
grow
trying.
coffee here. So they're paying all these tariffs from Brazil, these South American countries. So you mentioned those are two industries right there that are impacted by
Before you sell turtle wax next,
Yeah,
we're
I
taking a
will.
break here.
Baya is this is just a modern Republican Party. They truly have no shame. I just couldn't lie through my teeth like that. She just refused to say that the American people pay the effing tariffs. These people just don't care what harm they cause to people, their own voters. The sad thing is that millions of people think that what we are saying on this side is just lies and we hate Trump. When you could just quickly look it up. What the hell does a tariff mean? How do they work? And why no one stops female Scott Jennings there and corrects her? Like, I don't know, maybe someone did amongst the yelling and I didn't hear it. But again, this is so exhausting. How the F, somebody explain, how the F does a foreign country pay our tariffs that we impose on them? So she's telling me that they're paying our tariffs and they're paying the tariffs that they impose on us because it's been reciprocal tariffs. So they're paying both. Like, this is so ridiculous. Idiot. When we put on tariff on all products coming from Canada, that means when a U.S. company goes to buy said product from Canada, it also has to pay the tariff, which is just a tax. The U.S. company then has a choice. Does it pass the cost to the of the tariffs to the customers, right? Increase the price of the products, or they eat it themselves, which they don't really eat it themselves. What they end up doing, and what no one's going to say, is that they fire people in order to save the money, and they increase the workload. Very little companies will just eat the cost because they simply just don't have to, right? They rather let people go and increase the workload. And many companies just simply can't continue to operate with the higher costs, especially small businesses. Because obviously, if the price of the product becomes too expensive, people will not buy it anymore and will do without or buy an alternative that just simply isn't that expensive. That business dies and all those employees lose their jobs. It's not a surprise that the job report was so brutal. That's why when Baya says there is no job Americans won't do for the right pay. But that's just it. The economy will shrink as some companies will not be able to continue with the increase in labor costs or tariff costs. Right? It's that simple. No one will buy pencils if they start costing $5 instead of 20 cents. They will buy pens instead. Pencil companies will die. This is why things like tariffs don't work. They're not smart unless they're targeted and you're protecting a specific industry, right? You're trying to manufacture cars or chips for computers. It makes sense, right? Targeted so that we can build the industry here that we have big profit margins on, right? But we're not going to make freaking pencils here. I mean, we do make pencils, but you know what I mean. we can't make everything here. But anyways, let me know what you think about all this in the comments. I know I talked a lot here. Let me know what you think about all this. Baya is back. Dear Lord. I forgot about her for a good amount of time. Please leave a like, subscribe, really helps the channel, really helps push the message out there, and I'll catch you in the next one.